Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. I've got an unboxing episode for you guys tonight. It is the return of Lord Djemo. That's right, if you happen to have missed this episode up here, this guitar got away from me when it originally showed up in the mod collection. But the person who purchased it also watches the show, so he decided he wanted to sell it to me so I could document it because some people were upset. Now, despite this video performing honestly terribly, I have no regrets getting Lord Djemo. But this was sold to me as non-functioning because something had happened between, the shipping process of Gibson making it to him. So in that review and demo, we kind of toyed around with some stuff. I thought I had it, and then I didn't have it. But if I left the pickguard off the guitar, for some reason, it just magically worked. So I sent it back to Gibson under warranty because, that's why they give you a 2-year playability warranty. When you have modified guitars, sometimes things go wrong. But there we go. Lord Djemo is back. Now, apparently, it should work this time, I would hope. But I suppose we should probably go and test it. But in case you missed this started life as a 7-string Flying V, a kind of a rare model to begin with. But they swapped out our tuners with locking Grovers, but they left one of the original Steinbergers at the top, so it kind of has an interesting vibe to it. Then they covered over our neck pickup, and they initially had plans to put a flanger in this one, which they're starting to do all those pedals in guitars. We saw one, I think, 2 weeks ago in the mod collection. So when I sent this back, I was like, hey, if you guys want to put that flanger in it like you planned, you can. But unfortunately, that did not end up happening here. So yeah, Djemo might not be for everybody, but I'm very glad I was able to document this. And somebody has been waiting for this. They had purchased it. They were just waiting for it to get back to me. So let's go ahead and test this thing. Now, the mod collection guys were actually kind of excited to get this thing back, and knowing that I ended up getting it, and looks like they left a little nice note in my case here. I like Small Sam's touch of the little googly eyes. Justice! Bass Lord Nathan. We've got Little Croissant Renee. Smooth Colin. They had a few other fun things. Thanks, guys. It's great to have it back up and running. Lord Djemo is ready to take on the scene. But the second guitar we need to unbox today ties in with the sponsor of tonight's episode, Sweetwater. If you don't know about them, have you really bought gear before? They're like the best giant dealer to buy stuff from, whether it's guitars, cables, straps, band orchestra stuff. We've talked about them a lot on the show. Just visit their website. They can take care of you. If you like calling and talking to people and getting advised on things, they've got people for that. And if you're local in the area, they also do like music lessons. They also do live shows. I know sometimes you get even famous people teaching the lessons. And they also do a bunch of monthly giveaways that you're welcome to check out as well. But this one is a guitar I pre-ordered through Sweetwater well over a year ago. And the reason I placed this pre-order is I wanted to review this model, but I ended up just buying one from Japan, paying the premium to get it shipped over, import duties, taxes, all that other stuff. I'm glad I did it earlier because the USA release of this guitar, wow, they really pushed this thing back. You guys remember this thing? The Final Fantasy Stratocaster. So these were relatively expensive, about $3,500 US. But if you put your pre-order in, then you didn't have to worry about the resale market on the original Japanese-made ones. I'm not sure what the market really did. I do know that I kind of struggled to sell my first one, but then again, when you're trying to get a little bit over what retail was to pay for all the other stuff, of course it'll take a bit longer to sell. Just seems like the general consensus is Fender just didn't quite do enough with these. Like, there should have been built-in lights to really show off the kind of bejeweled gemmed nature of some of these Strat horns right here. But if you happen to play Final Fantasy online, obviously you're going to love this thing because you actually see the guitar in the game itself. So yeah, after I think about a year and a half of waiting, the USA release is here. It's still made in Japan, but this is just the USA release of it, so you didn't have to export one. They decided to do America in 2022. So future collectors, if you find one that has a 2022 serial number, I guess that means it probably originated for the US market. Or you can find things like Sweetwater's Case Candy. I'm curious, did they change anything else up here though? We've got our COA booklet here. which if we can get it open, yeah, that looks pretty much the same. I wonder if there's a particular number that starts the USA ones. Like this is 510. I think my other one was within like the first 100, wasn't it? But it looks like we've got the black chrome arm in here, and it is a nice dark black Stratocaster. So if you're interested in this one, feel free to message me via email. I mean, it might be on Reverb. Sometimes I don't have time, so just message me if you want to know for sure. I'd be really curious to see if Fender continues on a third one for next year, because we had the Ascatelli, then we had the Final Fantasy Stratocaster. Where will they go next? Because I don't think this was as hot of a seller as they were hoping it was going to be. But those Ascatellis, they're still hot on the used market. Next up here, let's take a break and do our small package of the day. So this was on Reverb, and it was listed as 80s Gibson 335 pickups. You know what that means. These are Tim Shaw's. They just needed to put Tim Shaw in the title and they probably would have sold 6 times faster. So I had made him an offer because people always are asking me, hey, do you have these spare pickups or this spare part? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Now, as far as like vintage pickups, no, don't even bother asking me. Because when I do have them, they sell almost instantaneously. So I thought I would go ahead and pick these things up. Because you never know when you're going to need this. Because finding Tim Shaw's with chrome and or nickel covers is incredibly difficult because not that many models use them that somebody would take them out of. I mean, these are like reissue style pickups. So if you're trying to restore like a Heritage 80 guitar or something, you need a set of these. But these puppies have extra long leads, so that's how you know he's telling the truth about them being from a 335. But this one must have been the bridge pickup because that's a little bit short. So a good way to ID a Tim Shaw PAF, you look at the number that's on here. Now all Gibson pickups will have something similar depending on what era you're in, but this patent number, that's a good sign. You also want to look for brass screws securing it to the base plate. That's another sign that has to be present for it to be a Tim Shaw. If you have the larger screws, that's how you know you have a later 80s pickup that's nowhere near as valuable. Now these ones, somebody has clipped our feet for some reason. And then the other big tell for these is you technically can remove the cover and look for white spacers in it. Now looking at this, I can tell you that this is probably around like a circa 1985 Tim Shaw PAF, because around 85, 86, that's when they kind of stopped doing the whole ink stamp system. And the other test you can do to make sure that they're Tim Shaw's is take their readings. So I get people asking me all the time, how do you take their readings? I actually have a separate video. It's kind of old, but it goes through everything. I'm just going to do a quick recap because a lot of people are confused. How the heck do you do this with a lead on it? Where'd you get those cables? This is not a separate cable. All this is 2 alligator clips that I just leave permanently attached to a little patch lead right here. That way I can easily plug things in and just go. But anyways, you want to get yourself a multimeter, set it to the 20k ohm setting. And if you don't have the alligator clips, you just take the probes. You put one on the metal bit right here, and then you want one on the wire all the way on the inside. You might have to strip some stuff off to get that reading. Then for a Tim Shaw PAF, you should be between 7 to about 7.5. So this one being 7.4, that's looking good. And then this one right here, we're at 7.3. So yeah, this all lines up as far as I'm concerned. If you're looking to set up your own multimeter like this, you just need one clipped onto the sheath right here and then one to the tip. And if you got good enough alligator clips, you can just always leave that as is, and then you've got that perfect. I hope that information is valuable to you guys. I remember when I first started to get into like pickups and stuff, I was so confused. How do you do that stuff? It's really simple once you know what you're doing. It can just be a little bit confusing seeing some guy on the internet. You just magically have a cable that tells him things like that. Now you can also take direct readings like right on the pots and stuff like that, because technically taking the reading within the circuit like the way I do on the workbench, it's not the most accurate way because you get everything else in the circuit, but it's close enough and easy enough. That's just the way I prefer to do it. But inside here sleeps the second Gibson USA guitar that we had talked about in the other unboxing episode, the other limited edition color finish. We're getting close to this video that I promised you guys. It's just waiting on the last common color Gibsons to show up. I've got all the Epiphones. So inside here must sleep our green friend, the Anaconda burst. Whoa. That's nice. I like this one. That's the thing, buying these things sight unseen. I just placed a bulk order with Gibson. I said, I want one of every Epiphone. I want one of every Gibson. I was kind of hoping they would get them to me faster than this, because now the whole should I buy the Epiphone / debate is pretty well been wiped out, but whoa, they took care of me on this one. I like that. Now, especially knowing that this finish is going to be discontinued now, I'm really excited to see what might come next, but that's nice. I like black and green. This is a ridiculously active top, and on top of that, you get a little bit of like wavy wood grain on this one. All I've got to say is poor Epiphone green burst guitar that has to be compared to this beautiful beast. Wow. I'll be interested to see what happens to these once it's like well known that these things are out of production and dealers no longer have access to them. If the values will go up or if they'll stay pretty steady, because these were out for quite a few years and it's possible that they will bring them back and they're just like cycling through them every 2 or 3 years. But I'm really excited to see what color might come next. I don't know, guys. Do you think I should hold off on the big Slash episode until we have the new colors as well? That'd probably be pretty fun. But who knows how long that'll take for those new ones to come out. But yeah, that is awesome. Love it. So if you're interested in New Guitar Day purchasing any of the Epiphone and or Gibson Slash models, I've got all the Epiphones and these 2 Gibsons at this time, but they will all ship out after I've done the whole video that we've been planning. And lastly today we have another custom shop limited edition guitar. Similar story to that Johnny Winter Firebird. Whenever there's a big limited edition that I want to do a full review and demo on, I place 2 different orders just to ensure that I get one. Sometimes things get here quicker than others, and in the review and demo business, if you're not first, everybody just forgets you. But let me tell you guys, I'm not sad that I ordered 2 of these things, because out of all the recent re-releases, it's the only one that comes with a sweet hat that we learned in the review and demo that you can just buy for like 20 bucks on some random website. But it's also the only one of the recent releases that has like caught collector interest. It's kind of good to know that this is happening. So late 2019, we start to see the market go kind of crazy, acting weird. Then 2020 hits and whoa boy, values start rising on stuff. 2021, it's blazing through hot. We see limited edition releases just like double and tripling in value instantaneously. And now here in mid 2022, it's finally starting to slow down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Like the really cool limited edition releases that are insane that everybody wants. Yeah, those still are going for a premium, but they're not going for as crazy. So I'm not saying the market's crashing. Like, if you guys are thinking, oh, I'll just wait a couple more months and it's going to become a buyer's market, I seriously don't see that happening. But inside here sleeps absolutely gorgeous Chuck Berry 355. I really like the Chuck Berry signature guitars. I remember when we had reviewed and demoed my review piece on this one, that, you know, at first I wasn't really quite too sure. It was a little bit heavier than I was expecting, but it was very, very fancy and elegant. It has a fairly tasteful aging job as far as these things go. But after I played this beast, then I was like, oh yeah, these things are nice. I mean, I really liked his signature ES350T that we also did a review and demo on, as well as the Forgotten 8 that we talked about in this episode. This is one of those models that still kind of goes crazy with the values. So I was lucky I got my orders in when I did, because I wouldn't mind keeping one of these. The Chuck Berry signatures always do seem to hold value. Surprisingly few of these have even shown up on the secondhand market, so that's what tells you mainly the collectors who are the holders and the keepers, the ones who want to own these things, got this run, because they did not make very many. They made 100 of these, and what number did I get here? Oh, that's a good one. Number 3. It's not number 1, it's not number 2, but number 3 is not too bad. Did you know Chuck Berry's favorite number was 3? Just kidding. So if you need to learn more about this one, you can check out my full review and demo, but it's awesome to get to see another one of these beauties. They all seem to be fairly minorly aged. So it's not like the Johnny Winter Firebird where I preferred one over the other. I mean, this looks pretty similar to me. Just has a cooler serial number. If you're interested in being the next owner of this one, or the other review and demo piece, feel free to message me. Alright, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed tonight's unboxing episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care.